nothing but the dog in me.
One must die, chase the cat.
Good evening and welcome to Pound Posse Presents. Here we are at the end of July. It's July 29th. It's my little Bella's birthday. She is 6 today, and there are no pictures to show for it because every picture I take of her, she looks like I'm abusing her. So it just, I don't understand. She puts her ears back. She gets this upset look on her face. I posted a picture of her on Facebook, but you know, she's my little freshie. She's something, that girl. She's been with me for a little over 4 years, and today is her actual birthday, which is not something that a lot of rescue dogs get to claim, but the channel through which I got her, I was able to have that information. You know, it's most of the times in rescue you guess, or you have a rough idea, or you know a dog is about 6 months old, so you roll the clock back and pick a date. Sometimes you use their gotcha day, which is the case with Little Man. Gidget, I did the roll the clock back. And Max, nobody really could tell me when his birthday was either, so I had to pick a date for him. So sometimes you do get lucky, and you have the actual day. We had our usual little celebration this morning, and she had some nice cuddly mommy time. And so all is well in Bella's world. And also, another birthday that just came to mind, old friend Sam Coletto is celebrating his birthday today, and I don't even want to discuss how many years we go back. I was first driving when I first met Sam, so that tells you how long ago that goes. So happy birthday, Sam, and here we go. First news tonight that I have is kind of sad news. Well, not kinda, it is sad. If anybody remembers when Mission Wolf was on the show, or if anybody is familiar with Mission Wolf, Magpie, let's get her pictures up, Zach, passed away last Sunday on the 23rd of July. She was an ambassador wolf with the Ambassador Wolf program, and there she is, the gray one. That first picture is her just frolicking, and this one is more recent of her. The first one was with Abraham, and the second one is with Zeb, who they were both on the show here in the studio with me live in October of 2014. Now, Magpie traveled the country helping to educate people about the plight of wolves, about wolves as a species, and helping to spread the word about Mission Wolf and all of the absolutely wonderful things that they do. If you're not familiar with Mission Wolf, they are out of Colorado, and you know, they used to take, it's been a few years, they would get in this big bus of theirs, which was a sight to behold unto itself, and travel the country doing their educational program, which they called their Ambassador Wolf program. And we on the East Coast were very fortunate to have them visit this part of the world, and I guess they were out here a number of times throughout the years, and Southington was one of their stops. I know at least back in 2014. And it's the most amazing thing to interact with wolves. I know obviously Mission Wolf does pretty much that full time, but to have them here in the studio, and let's have a couple of pictures of the studio visit, Zach. This particular picture thrills me to this day. On the air, as we were talking, I was petting Abe, and Magpie came up to me, and she just got up all in my face, and she was basically, as they say, cleaning my face. She gave me a lengthy series of kisses right on the air, and that's a profile picture actually that I use on Facebook, because that was just a really truly amazing moment. And you can scroll through, there are some other ones That was after the show. We were all kind of just hanging out and having some fun. That's my friend Debbie. And there's her kisses, which, you know, there's nothing like being kissed by a wolf. And the people who got to, and there's Steve, who is the president of the studio, got to spend some time too. I had a special guest panel here in the studio that day. And there's Zach with his little magpie time. And the look on his face is precious. And there he was taking selfies when it was his turn for kisses. So, you know, you can imagine it was quite a day. You can scroll through those again. It was quite a day. It was quite a visit. And an amazing thing. I can't wait until Mission Wolf hits the road again and comes out this way, because I would love to have them back. But the sad part is it won't be with Magpie. And, you know, she was just wonderful. She was actually about 15 years old. And if I've got this correctly, most wolves only live to be about a third of that time. So she had an amazing run and an amazing life. And she really did so much good for Mission Wolf and just introducing people to wolves. You know, they're enormous, as you can see, and they're just beautiful. And, you know, part of the thing is there was, oh, I want one. No, you don't. And that's part of what Mission Wolf teaches. So let's just leave that there. Anyway, if you're not familiar with Mission Wolf, you really should go check them out. Give their page a visit and a like. We'll always remember Sweet Magpie. And if you are interested in watching the show that they were on, you can see that on YouTube. You'll have to scroll back to October of 2014, and you'll be able to check that out. I have posted it in the last week on the Pound Posse Presents Facebook page in remembrance, so it might be easier for you to find it there. But anyway, thank you, Magpie, for everything you've done and all the lessons you've taught and all the joy that you've brought to so many people. Alrighty. I love that selfie. Zach was in his glory. I remember he was ambivalent about doing a show with wolves, and that lasted about 32 seconds, because as soon as he got to interact with them, you could see that nervousness kind of wash away, and he was all about it. He was taking all kinds of selfies, and he was getting kisses, and he was just on the floor with them, and the look on his face, as you could see with Magpie, was priceless. He was in his glory. And, you know, not too many people can say that they've had that kind of time with wolves, and we can. And so thank you, Magpie. Thank you, Kent and Tracy and Mission Wolf. And we certainly, here at the studio, feel your loss and send our condolences. So we've got an adoptable who, it's a really sad thing. Let's get Ozzie's picture up. As I choke. Pardon me. Ozzie is an 8-year-old chow, and he was given up when his owner could no longer care for him due to her own health problems. And that obviously, lately, we see that a lot as a theme. You know, people get to a point where they are incapable of taking care of their animals, and it's so sad. I guess in a lot of ways it's inevitable if, you know, we as animal lovers have animals, but unfortunately this was Ozzie's case. Now Ozzie is neutered. He is up to date on his vaccinations. He's on preventative, which basically usually means heartworm and or flea and tick. He's lived with multiple dogs and cats. He loves walks and belly rubs, and he's a big mush. And of course, you know, he may sound too good to be true, and you know, you wonder, all right, so what's the catch? And there kind of is one. Ozzie is also blind, and of course that should not stop him from being considered perfect. It's not stopping him. It's, you know, just he needs that special home that can love him just the way he is. He needs a home, foster or forever. Right now, this poor guy is in a kennel, and he's probably very confused and very brokenhearted. 8 years in a home with a loving owner, and all of a sudden, and this is happening more and more frequently, they're displaced, they're without their owner, they don't know what happened. Add to the fact that this guy can't see, so he really doesn't know, where he is, where he's going. He's got all these strange sounds and smells, and it's just very heartbreaking. And, unfortunately, there's not a spot for him to go into a home, so he's in a kennel, which just kind of makes it worse. Makes me really sad for any dog, but especially the older ones and the ones that, have any kind of disability. It makes it even more heartbreaking. And of course, this boy has a connection through his mom to Sweet Pea, Friends of Rutland Animals. You obviously hear me talk about them over and over and over and over. So the plea to help him is even more personal. And so I would say if you can share him, please do on Facebook, because he needs the exposure. He really needs to get into a good place. Not that he's not in good hands, but he needs to be in a home, whether it's foster or forever. And the sooner the better. And if you are interested, that's even better. You can go to bighairanimалrescue.com. That's bighairanimалrescue.com, and you can inquire about him there. And again, he's posted on the Pound Posse Presents Facebook page. He's posted on my Facebook page. I know he's posted on the Sweet Pea Facebook page. So you can pick up his picture anywhere and, share him if you know anybody who might be interested in giving this old guy a place to lay his head, even temporarily. Being blind isn't stopping him, so it shouldn't stop you. It's a little bit of a life adjustment, more for him than anybody else. But, if you have a little bit of chow experience, I'm sure it won't hurt. And if you have a little bit of experience with blind dogs, I'm sure it won't help. And there are some people who rescue dogs just like him. So let's try to get him out there and the exposure that he needs to get him to where he needs to go. Alrighty, I will take the camera back for a short. Now, there are certain topics that I know I've covered, any number of times here on the show, and here I go again. I've talked about dogs in hot cars many times before, and unfortunately, it's one of those things that just never seems to end. There have been very recently 2 serious incidences here in Connecticut, and fortunately, those 2 cases bear legal action. There are charges, there are court dates, there are things that are going to happen, and that's exactly where it should be. And God bless Desmond's Army, because they're involved with both of them, and they will be there to represent the animals. One was a 7-week-old puppy who, the people had no qualms about leaving in a hot car for over an hour. And the other one is an older man who apparently is the second time he left a dog in a car and it died. So, there's a real problem. You would think that the second guy would have been way more careful than to do it a second time. But it's something that, it just needs to stop. It came to me recently that maybe part of the solution would be to become proactive and to recruit like-minded people to get involved, to help educate others, and to spread the word, and to raise awareness for this very serious problem. And I guess it's best expressed as a series of what ifs. And I'm going to ask Zach to put up the temperature gauge that we have. And I'm going to just, it tells you just how warm it gets. Some of it is cut off, but it takes actually no time at all for an average day to turn into a life-threatening situation the longer you leave a dog in a car. So what if we could be the change needed to stop dogs from senselessly dying in hot cars? What if we had a flyer that we could hand out to people in parking lots and stores and at events? What if we got local merchants to post those flyers and maybe hand them out to their customers? What if we all parked a little farther away from wherever we are going so we can check out the row of vehicles we pass for a dog in distress? What if we give it a try? And there is an addendum to my what ifs. What if shelters and rescues included a flyer with their adoption packets? What if pet sitters and dog trainers left a flyer with each of their clients? What if pet pantries and other animal assistance organizations gave each of their clients a flyer? Veterinarians and low-cost spay or neuter clinics too. What if we got each town to give a flyer out with dog licensing? What if, folks? Zach, there was more in this little series, I think. There's signs of your pet overheating. There's actions to take if your animal does overheat. And then we go on to the fact that, I'll take the camera back for a hot. The what ifs seem to be very attainable goals. With some elbow grease and some legwork, why couldn't a group of committed individuals work together to make a change to save lives? The what ifs became the basis of a group I started on Facebook, and it's called Canine Safety Squad. In a week's time, it's gotten great responses. We've got a solid start, and I believe we're on our way to making things happen. Zach, let's get up the flyers, and you can scroll through those. Amy Gagnon did a tremendous job on these. I think they're absolutely wonderful. They take all of the core information and they put them out there briefly and to the point. And I think that these flyers could change some of what happens to these poor dogs. These are the flyers that I think that rescues can hand out in their adoption packets, that animal controls can post in their lobby and hand out in their adoption packets. I think these can go up in stores. I think that we can hand these out at events. I think that we could use these to raise awareness. Now, in this group, Canine Safety Squad, there have been many ideas being put out there, from the parking lot signs, you know, the fixed signs out there that some towns and places actually have, to rescue kits to carry in your car, and how-tos for different situations. And honestly, this isn't a topic that's strictly all about bust a window. I mean, that's the first thing you hear a lot of people say, and there's a time and a place for that. But what about trying to educate? What about trying to make it so that no dog has to get to that point? That's what I'd like to work on, making it so dogs aren't even put in that position. I'll take the camera back. Now, this group is new. We have a lot of members already, And I understand that, you know, there's always going to be the ones that are going to be more involved and more active, and there's going to be others who just kind of sit back and read and watch and like stuff, and that's perfectly fine because we need everybody. At some point, there's going to be an opportunity for everybody to decide to get involved. But if this is something that you care about, I urge you to come and join the group. It's a movement. It doesn't matter where you are. It's something that already has members that are all over the country, which is a pretty cool thing. You know, you can request to join. You can add people that you know are going to want to be involved. And I'm very proud of the fact that we're new and we've come as far as we have. The Facebook group is called, as I said, K9, the letter K, number 9, Safety Squad. And you can look it up on Facebook, or you can go to facebook.com/groups/K9 Safety Squad. I shared it on the Pound Posse Presents Facebook page so that everybody can just, you know, click on it and get to it that way to make it easier. It's also shared on my own page. You can feel free to share it. There's a link that you can click on, and you can download the flyer, and you can also use that download to print copies. So no matter where you are, no matter what your circumstances, you can be involved. It's everywhere that we are seeing these dogs being left in hot cars. It's everywhere we're hearing story after story after story of dogs that don't need to die, but they are. They don't need to be left to the point of being in distress, but they are. So we need to raise that awareness. People don't get the connection. People don't get the problem. And I think that if we're walking parking lots with the flyers, if we're at events with the flyers, if the stores have the flyers, I know some of the corporate stores can't post a flyer without it being cleared by their corporate office. But, you know, the smaller places, the mom and pop stores, the big stores have bulletin boards. There's a lot of places we can have these signs put up, and you know, people start seeing it, you know, it's not something that they're necessarily tuned into. They think, oh, I parked in the shade, the windows are open. Oh, the windows are open, I'm only going to be a few minutes. And it's a few minutes is really all it takes. So I'm thinking it's really time to educate people. Like I said, the first thing anybody wants to do is bust a window. And yeah, there's a time and a place for that, but there's also legal ramifications. And if a dog isn't in distress, it's probably not going to hold up in court that you did that. But if people thought twice before they did it, even about the crazies that are in the parking lot that are going to have them paged, maybe they'll think twice. Maybe. All the what ifs. I like the what ifs. Anyway, like I said, the flyers, you can download them yourself. You can have them printed. You can get them out there into people's hands. If you're someone who is tabling at an event where there's animals, if you're tabling at an event that doesn't have animals, any place you have a crowd, you can distribute the flyers. Any place any store that you go to, you can ask for it to be hung. Any place you are, you can bring up the conversation. This is something that I really think at this point, it's about the education, because it's just too widespread a problem, and it vexes me, it really does. Years ago, I had firsthand experience with a dog that was in heat stroke, and it wasn't pretty. I know what it's like. I did everything I could to try to save that dog, and unfortunately, when it was out of my hands, it was out of my hands. and I don't believe that dog survived. I think that when those people got to the vet finally, they didn't have the money, and the vet just kind of sent them away, which breaks my heart because that's not the way it should go, but that's another whole topic of conversation. Anyway, again, if you are interested in becoming part of the movement, we'd love to have you. If you've got ideas, if you've got outlets to try to help, like I said, we'd love to get the parking lot signs in every place we can in the state and out of state, wherever you are. It requires some legwork. It's, state representatives and your political factions and your police departments. You have to be willing to, beat the pavement a little bit, make phone calls, write letters. Some people are really good at doing that, so clearly we need that kind of help as well. Anything that you can offer to help the cause, you're more than welcome to join the group. And I think that over time, maybe if we save any animals, if we stop even one, then we didn't do it in vain. I am going to have the flyer done up as a PSA here at the station. I'm asking for it to be posted here as well. Got mine at work on the bulletin board. There's little tiny steps that you can make. Every bit of exposure, just like when you're trying to network an animal, every bit of exposure helps. And so, we need you basically. Canine Safety Squad, the group is on Facebook, hoping that we can expand and become a thing and really make a change in the world. Anyway, before we go, let's get Ozzie up one more time. Ozzie, who is just a big mush. His mom cannot take care of him anymore due to her own health concerns. He is 8 years old, up to date on vaccinations, neutered, loves belly rubs. He's blind. He needs a special home. If you can do it, please reach out to bighairdogrescue.com. I'm going to say peace, love, and dogs. Until next time, thank you very much and good night.